All right, here's the fun part where I'm just talking to myself for a little bit until we get some people to jump on. I don't want this top chat. Get this nonsense out of here. Live chat. There we go. All right. So I mentioned before, and I apologize because I actually screwed up that I didn't have the live stream at the event. I was actually planning on doing that and just didn't. So I apologize for that. But what I'll be able to do is kind of go through. You guys know the drill. Go through and clean some stuff, make sure that it's all ready for next time I'm out of the field. And we can kind of talk about the event. I saw the draw for Pro. So that's something that we can talk about as well. Of course, if you guys have any questions, comments, anything like that, put that down in the comments, and I am more than happy to answer those. If you didn't see my video on the Philly event, overall, I think the NXL did a very, very good job. I don't have a lot of negative. Something that I would like to see them do better is to have better communication. That's something that if you played at the event, it rained really, really bad. What I don't like is that I didn't get any notification that, oh, the refs are taking their lunch break right then and there. So you're playing in a couple minutes. So we had to rush. And I'm not sure. I mean, correlation doesn't mean causation, right? So with me injuring it was like my hip flexor and my quad in that first match. I wonder if some of it is because I rushed. So I didn't get like a good stretching session. I wasn't able to like really have my mind in the game. That could have been a factor that affected that. And if that's something, that affected me, I know that there were some other players that got injured as well. I don't know. And I realize the NXL can't control the weather, so I'm not blaming them for it raining. Like they can't do anything about that. I'm not going to complain about that and make it where, like that's, oh, you guys need to know better. No, it only rained one day and the rest of it was fantastic. If it wasn't for the rain, the weather was amazing. The grass was great. The field held up pretty well. It overall was a very well run event. Now, that communication aspect, though, we also had it where all of a sudden we went from one time frame on was it for our Friday matches. If it wasn't for someone that just checked, I don't know if they were just checking just because, then all of a sudden we had different matches. Well, that's not cool. That's like I don't like that. So and I didn't get any notification about that. I don't know if the team manager got a notification or whoever. But I think if there's going to be something as large as the NXL, what they need to do is make sure that they are sending out just notifications of, hey, your time change. And you can, I feel like, program that pretty easily that this is your new time or this is your schedule, and they can send that out. I don't know. That's just my thing. But yeah, paint shot good. My gun shot great. Like I didn't have issues. Yeah, that Voltanium shot pretty well, is what we ended up shooting. I did hear that the GI was kind of bouncy. So I guess not bouncy enough that, hey, Oxism. Yeah, obviously it worked really well for damage because they won. So, okay, cool. Maybe they were able to find a batch that was really good for them or something. I don't know. But something that was not cool was seeing that there were a lot of injuries. Like I know Dalton Vanderbilt from Impact. Saw him in like an arm cast thing, not a cast, a brace. Sergey on Legion. I think he slid and just kind of dove wrong. I'm not really sure, but he was in like crutches. And for someone like him that's been very active, I don't know, something had to go wrong. Yeah, not in a good way. But again, guys, yeah, if you have anything that you want to put in the comments down below, go ahead and do that. And yeah, I realized that I kind of changed the time. I didn't want it to be that I was like competing with Spick and Span and those guys. I never intended that to be the case, but I also realized that some people like to go and watch that. So yeah, hey, 2-Bit. If you guys have anything that you want to discuss, can put that in the comments down below. So like Oxism, hey, so my home field, I kind of jump around a little bit. The field that I'm going to be going to next week, actually, yeah, finally, right, is Markham Paintball here in Winter Haven, Florida. I also have Legacy Sports Park, which is formerly known as Central Florida Paintball. So that is they're doing a lot of great stuff there. So I'll probably go out there a little bit more often. Still in Florida, yeah. And then Tiki's is fantastic. Like they've done a lot of really good stuff. All of those are within like a 45-minute drive of me, so it's not too bad. So I kind of jump around just depending on, okay, who is it that I am going to be playing with, or if there's going to be people doing drills, whatever, depending on if I'm wanting to do drills or wanting to play matches, will kind of dictate that. Or if I need to just like fit in some scrimmaging time or some drill time for myself, I'll actually go ahead and just go over to Markham Paintball, just because it's right down the road and they're awesome too. So if you guys are in the Winter Haven area, you should check them out. But yeah, so that's that. So yeah, I mean, that's really the only negative thing that I can think of with the NXL Philly event, was just that I didn't really get a notification of things. Something that someone else brought up was, I guess, valid. And of all the fields, the semi-pro field was kind of on a slant. I don't know why. So it's just something that I just don't understand the reasoning behind that. They should have had it where maybe the vendors were on more of the slant. They don't need to be on a flat area, but playing fields should be. And if you looked on the pro field, it was like tilted to one side, which I just don't understand why the decision was made for that field to be there and them not just flip it. I don't know if maybe the owners of the location complained about something and they had to change it, which might have been the case. But yeah. So my favorite drill is probably whatever it is that I need to work on that day. I like to so something that you guys can do is go and see, like I'll kind of do a bunch of different drills and see what is it that I need to do more of that particular day. So sometimes your snapshot's just on, it's going to be exactly where you want it to be, but then your laning is hot garbage. So sorry, man. So that was one day I might have it where my laning is just terrible, so that's what I'm going to work on more. Other days it could be my snapshot, just for whatever reason. So it's kind of whatever it is that I'm going to be working on. What I would love it to be is that I had certain days to practice certain things in particular, have a run and gun day, have a, but right now I have a spring break, but I'm also a dad. So I'm not spring break, summer break, for school. Yeah, so that's going to open up some more time for me, since I'm able to, have a little bit more time during the week, but so be it. Yeah, absolutely work on that left side snap. So something that's really helpful is if you are able to film yourself. So like just literally go and grab your phone and put it up in front of you, even kind of not literally next to the target, but like below it. And that way you can see how much is showing. You can also do that when you are practicing with someone, have them tell you, hey, your elbow's showing, hey, this, like, a great drill that you can do is just literally just snap shooting. It's a one ball check-in drill, or you don't have to check in. So you snap, you shoot the ball, you can stay out and post. It's more of a gun dominance drill, but you can only do like a da-da-da-da-da-da-da. You can't go into ramping. So you're working on the accuracy as well as kind of trying to outsmart the other guy, because anyone can just sit there and just pound a bunker. You're going to do that at an event, at practice, all of that. But for a drill, you want to make sure that you are putting yourself in a situation that's going to make it more difficult. If you play basketball, you're going to be doing free throws for a while, just because, okay, I might not be doing free throws a whole lot, but I need to be able to be ready for this. Same idea with paintball. So that is what it is. Okay. Let me get this all cleaned off. This is what happens when you lend stuff to a teammate, and then you get it back and it's still got gunk on it. But it's all good. It's just part of it. So I actually don't wear glasses when I play. So my prescription is pretty light. It's basically like I'm more nearsighted than farsighted. So I can see the ball just fine. Um, uh, if you get it back, yeah. No, that's something that I think I even told him. I was like, "Hey, you, where's my loader?" Uh, so, um, you're gonna lose swabs and pods for sure, but yeah, a loader is a little bit more expensive. But yeah, I don't wear glasses when I play. Um, so I can see everything just fine. I know some people like to wear contacts. I just don't wear contacts. I have astigmatism, so I think you have to have special contacts for that anyway. And I just don't want to deal with that. And I can see well enough. So it's not like I'm at this crazy disadvantage and, I'm putting myself at this crazy disadvantage or whatever. I can snap shoot with anyone and still see just fine. So yeah. Um, oh man, doesn't help when they get shot in the loader as well. This is definitely something you guys should have, by the way. Just some isopropyl alcohol. It's going to be safe for electronics as well. So that way you can get like the gunk out of stuff. Dries pretty quick. So yeah, it's just one of those. But if you do need glasses when you play, I can't remember. Is it IEYECSEE? Like EYECSEE? I can't remember the name of the company, but they make is it Uzi? I cannot remember the name of the company, but they make prescription glasses that you can like click into the lens itself. So some people might really need that particular prescription, and like you're completely blind without it. Yeah, you need to have something. Well, you just got to figure out a solution to that. So it's kind of like if you're a taller player, okay, well, how do you adjust to that? If you're a shorter player, how do you adjust to that? So everyone's going to have some sort of a advantage or disadvantage on the field. How can you capitalize on that? How can you make it where the other team is it's going to just be more difficult for them to be able to eliminate you? The Eva's fit. Oh, so I'm I can say this because I'm not a sponsored Empire player. I really don't like the EVSs. They're just too. The lens itself is great, but it muffles everything. That's just my own opinion. If you like them, go for it. But I just felt like it muffles so much, and it's just like a big space helmet thing. I don't know, but so be it. That's how sponsorship goes. Sometimes when you need to use things that you don't like, and I've definitely been in that situation before. Yeah, I mean, if it fits your head well, I mean, ultimately, so something I'll always mention is teams that are just starting out, don't go for sponsorships. Yeah, the i4 Pros are pretty small. So I use the i5s personally. But yeah. So I see what you did there. SLRs. Yeah, I liked those when I was using them with the Latin Saints. I actually liked the skulls as well. They're like the cheaper version, but they still breathe pretty well. I mean, there's some stuff that I didn't really like with the lens itself when you had to swap it out, but I was kind of pleasantly surprised. Same thing with the SLRs. But really, what you guys should do with any team or whatever is go and find out, okay, what is thanks, Chris. What's the local field? How can you get a sponsorship with them? Because that kind of a thing is going to help you out a lot more than going and buying some gear package. It's not going to be beneficial to the team, especially if you're playing lower division. Basically, you're getting a discount on some gear, but then you're going to be required to use certain gear, and that might not be a preference of some people. I would say just play, do really well. And then as you get higher up, the expenses are going to be up there. So that's when you want to start going into, okay, how can we get sponsorship? And maybe your field has a GI deal where they have something that they can work out with you because they're able to buy so much paint, or some other company if they're an HK field or whatever. Ultimately, you just want to make it where it's going to be the most beneficial for the team. And sometimes that means that you will have to use some products that aren't your favorite, but you just don't tell people that. Yeah, my favorite paint to use is whatever's shooting best that day. So right now I don't have like a official paint sponsor, so it's kind of nice. Yeah, whatever shoots well that day is what I want to shoot. That's really all I care about. So if it's real bouncy, I don't want it. If it is too fragile, I don't want it. But if it's shooting well, that's all I care about. Um, yeah. So I'm trying to think of other stuff with the. Oh, I guess congrats to Damage. It's great that they were able to pull that out and win. Keith Brown is a monster. If you guys ever get a chance to just talk with Keith Brown, you should. He's a fantastic just person. And it's just someone that I respect as a player, but also as a just a human being. Like he's one of those guys that on the field he wants to cut you in half, but off the field will take the time to talk with anyone, and that's what I really respect about him. When I was wanting to go pro, so before I went pro, that was something that I wanted. I wanted to make sure that I was a player that people were able to come up and talk to, and that I wasn't someone that was like this, oh, well, don't go up and talk to Greg because he's just a jerk. There's definitely times that I might have to run to something, or I'm in the middle of running somewhere, and it might be kind of short, but I would never want it to be that, someone has a bad experience. And I know that that's going to happen, but try to minimize that. Again, going back to your sponsors, it helps with that. So if you're a jerk, people aren't going to look at you or your sponsors all that well. So again, ultimately with sponsorship, you're a walking billboard. So you want to make sure that you are presenting yourself in a way that's going to make them look good. And yeah. Although I think there was someone that tried to say hi, maybe not. Oh, thank you. Get this back together, and then I can look at the breakdown. All right, so I don't know if you guys saw the release for the Chicago event, which I unfortunately will not be in Chicago. So the timing isn't going to work out. I'm only playing 3 events this year. I did not put that piece in. I'm losing it, guys. I'm losing it. Got a 3-year-old making me crazy. But yeah, thank you for that. Let's see. It's not really helpful if you don't put the arm back in for your LTR. It's not exactly going to work well. There we go. All right. Now that that's there. And again, if you guys have any questions, please put those in the comments. Whatever I can answer, I will. So right now I'm playing with Ruthless Factory, which is playing in semi-pro. So we didn't have the showing that we wanted to in Philly. We had some guys that last minute had to drop out for different reasons, which really hurt our depth on the field. And then I ended up getting injured, which now I think my leg is getting back to normal. I've been trying to just take it easy and just make it where I'm just kind of, not overextending, but just trying to work at it and stretch and all that. It was probably good that we went on a trip with our family last weekend, and I didn't have to do any physical stuff. It was like we hiked a little bit, but it was at a wedding. So yeah, it is not a Florida team. So they're based out of St. Louis, so out in the Midwest. So it's a team that is St. Louis. Yeah. All right. Let's look at this draw. And then if you were going to ask the pro teams that I played with the ML Kings for about 4-ish seasons. And then I finished out with the Latin Saints. So again, that was personal reasons why I left the Kings to go over to the Saints. Yeah. All right. So let's look at Group A. So Group A is Dynasty, Extreme, ML Kings, Notorious, and Uprising. Oof. So someone was even saying that it looks like this is pretty balanced, and I feel like I can agree with that, just strictly for the reason that there really are no like easy games. If you look even at the Saints, should have beat Aftermath if it wasn't for that major. Um, uh, they would have won, which is really upsetting because like I know a lot of the guys on pretty much all the guys on that team. So because they had some other guys that came on, but I knew them from before. So it's kind of just upsetting. I don't know what they I think they need to at least go like 2-2 to have a chance of saving their season. I don't know. I don't know if the Saints are going to be able to save it. I mean, it's just a really tough thing in pro. Yeah, it was just ridiculous. Yeah, I was there when I saw it. I'm like, "Oh, cool, they're gonna win. Oh, they just got a major. Okay, that's the game." It's like I just don't understand. It was someone that overextended. They got shot because of a miscommunication. They didn't realize that someone was still on the field. They didn't have the kill count right. He got shot. Continued a couple more steps to bunker someone. And they threw a major because of that, which is granted, like that's warranted. So that wasn't cool, but it is what it is. All right, let's look at Group A. So I think out of these teams, so I think Dynasty and Extreme are going to win out. Extreme has just been killing it lately, and it's great for them. I think that's going to be, um, yeah. MAO was a great event. Uh, After the draw talk. Oh yeah. We can go back to the NXL refing. I think that they did pretty well this last event. So overall, I would say that they did pretty well. Um, Notorious really killed it in this last event. Uprising, I don't think did as good as they could, but it's weird with Uprising. Like I remember playing against them, you have no idea what Uprising is going to show up. I know guys on that team, they can be great, and then there's just times that they just collapse, and I just don't know. So yeah, I think Dynasty and NYX are definitely going to win out. Um, but I think there's a chance for Notorious or ML Kings to get a wild card out of that. Notorious did really well. I think it'll be interesting to see Notorious play NYX, considering that Harris Hussein that played with NYX is going to be playing against them with Notorious. So yeah, they can be all over. And again, it can be kind of tough because I have to try to look at it from like an outside perspective. Um, and yeah, so yeah. What I'll do is actually I'll say who it is that I think is going to win out, and then we'll go back to the wild cards because I think that I might change my mind a couple times. So Group B is X Factor, Impact, Revo, Energy, and Ironman. I think it'll be X Factor and Revo win out of this one. Energy didn't do as well as our last event was not good. We don't need to talk about that one. Let's talk about in the future. um, so yeah, I think it'll be X Factor and probably Revo that win out. Um, and it's just kind of a gut feeling. I don't know what it is. So Iron Man, same thing. Like they just I just don't understand. They have so much talent, and then they'll go like 1-1 on the day, and then the next day go 0-2. And then just I don't know. I don't know what it is that's happening. I don't know if it's just a matter of them not playing as a team or what. I really have no clue. But yeah, I think it'll be X Factor and Revo went out of this one. Energy didn't do well this last event, but those guys grind. Like they play a lot. So they could be kind of a dark horse to win out of this one. Impact is always a good team, but I don't know. There's something about X Factor and Revo that just sticks out to me for that one. Group C is going to be pretty solid. So it's Damage, Hurricanes, Diesel, Level, and the Saints. I hope that the Saints can pull some stuff out. I think with Hinman helping out Diesel, someone had asked about Diesel. I think Diesel did a lot better than they've done before. I think that they needed someone like Hinman. Mike is able to bring the egos down. I think there's a lot of great players on there, but it's too many Chiefs um, in the pits. I think that that's kind of an issue. I don't know if it's just one of those things that they just, yeah, I can't. Um, oh, I'm just reviewing the draw. See if I can get that up there. I'm just looking at the draw. So, so Group C, yeah, Damage and Canes, I think are going to win out. I think Diesel will step it up for sure. Level's kind of been struggling a little bit, but yeah, and then nothing against the Saints. Like I want them to do well. I do. Like I want them to succeed. It's just pro is tough, man. Like it's not it's not for the faint of heart. And you have to have people that are willing to take their lumps and make sure that they're going to go and be, who they need to be on the field. But also that overextending is not something that's going to be beneficial. It's not one of those things. Yeah. Yeah. But yeah, I think Damage and Hurricanes, and then Diesel's kind of a dark horse, which is weird to say because of their roster. But yeah, I think that's what it'll probably be. The last one. So we have Heat, Infamous, Aftermath, Bears, and Legion. So I'll put that back up there right there. So I think what'll help Legion out a lot is a lot of their guys are back in Russia, so they're going to be able to practice together more. I don't know what Sergey's situation is. He's a great gunner, so he's someone that him not being on the field is gonna be an issue. But they also have a lot of great talent in there. Yeah, I think Heat will win the bracket. They struggled a little bit actually this last event. They didn't do as well. I mean, it's still Heat, like they still made top four, but yeah. Heat and Infamous, you think? The Bears actually stuck out to me. So the Bears are a group that are real scrappy, but yeah, I think I am gonna agree with you that it'll be Heat and Infamous. Aftermath, they just don't have, because they don't have Hinman helming the wheel. Nothing against man, what's his name? I can't forget his name. I'm forgetting. Can't remember. But he's been running Aftermath, and he's been playing at a high level for a while, I believe, and just kind of been around. So he's a good coach, but yeah, they're a younger organization as well. They don't have a lot of their other guys, so um, I think the Bears are going to come out swinging, though. I just don't know if I see Legion winning out of this one. They are like super dark horse to even make it out of this. That's just, yeah. So, I mean, Aftermath, I'm not even really sure how to describe it. Like they're a solid organization. The organization's been around for a long time. Hinman's brought people through that organization. A lot of guys that are at the top level are because of Aftermath. So yeah, I don't know what's that missing link. I don't know if it's just experience and time. When I was with the Kings, that's the kind of thing that happened. It was just experience and time. And, like with the ML Kings, there were no superstar names on the roster. It was just guys. And that kind of, you have to build that organization. It's just difficult. So now I can look at who I think would be the two wild cards. I think Diesel will be a wild card. I think it's going to be either Diesel and Impact or Diesel and Energy. You think Legion? Okay, interesting. I just don't know. We'll have to see. Keep it clean and professional. I don't know if it's just that Northeast uh, mentality. But yeah, they'll put it on people. Um, so yeah, I mean, it kind of sucks because it's a lot of the teams that I picked are in that tier 1 and 2 to move on, but that's why they're there. I think, let's see, the dark horse kind of, maybe Notorious or Kings, and maybe the Bears. I don't know if Aftermath is going to be able to pull it out on this next one. So if I had to put money down, I would say it'd probably be Diesel and Impact would get the bye if they don't win out. But I think it'll be good. Like this is gonna be a bunch of good matches. It's also gonna depend on the field layout because that kind of stuff is gonna make a difference as well. But yeah, I don't know. Um, So the other interesting thing again is going to be looking at it'd be fantastic if the Canes won it. So I've known Mike Bianca for a while, and he was feeling real down after Sunday. They definitely had a chance to win it, and in their last match on Sunday that they lost was because of a missed call, I think, on their kill count or something like that. And he was just saying like that it's kind of unacceptable. And yeah, at this level, especially deep on Sunday, you make that one mistake, that's going to be the match. I think once Damage moved into the finals, it was kind of like Damage is going to win. Um, but if I had to, I wonder. So if I had to, it's hard to say without seeing the layout as well. I think it'll either be Dynasty, Damage, or Hurricanes that win this one. I think it's gonna be one of them 3. Um, yeah, yeah. Yeah, 1 point, I mean, that literally, like, could be the whole match. So, it's one of those things that could shift momentum if players aren't able to I actually had to get on, the guys on Ruthless, and I talked with them about it. I was like, "Look, in this last match, we lost after the first point because some people got flustered and brought it back into the pit." I'm like, "You're allowed 10 seconds to be upset as you walk back to the pit, and then after that, that's it. Like there's no more you have to clear that out of your head and then just play like it's 0-0, which is tough. Like paintball is a very mental sport. You have to think about like movements and trying to figure out what's going to be the best move. You can't second guess yourself. Once you second guess yourself as you get higher up in the divisions, you're going to have those times where okay, well, now you've missed that window. It just shut. Like now you don't have that move. Or because you hesitated, you didn't launch as quickly as you normally would and now you got shot. So like you have all of these issues that are going to be coming up through there. Um so yeah, it's a oof, it can be fickle. But that's one of the great things of paintball too is that it's chess, right? Like you're able to go in and you have to outsmart the other guy. Maybe they make a move that you didn't want them to take your bishop. Okay, well now how do I win without this bishop? Okay, we adjust and go and figure it out. So yeah. Um, let's see. Okay, yeah. So I think it'll be those out of those three, Dynasty, Damage, or Hurricanes. I think you're going to win this one. The 2 that I would pick as kind of runner-ups, maybe as 2nd place or kind of dark horse to win would be, NYX and Heat. Again, it's nothing against Heat, like, they were playing fantastic. I would like to see Fedorov not try to do so much. He's a great player. I'm not ever gonna tell him to change how he plays because he's an amazing paintball player, and he's been playing at the pro level for a long time. The issue that I saw, at least, is just from the sideline, and maybe they had it kind of built in for him to kind of go wild out a little bit, was I kind of felt like he was trying to do too much. And there is a risk reward. Like, okay, I'm gonna step out of this bunker a little bit more to try to get this shot, to try to dive back in. And sometimes it pays off and it looks great. And then there's other times that you do it, you get shot, and then okay, well, now you've blown that side. So I don't know if some of that was just a matter of them okay, we're going to let you kind of go and see. But if you look at like Dynasty in them, like they don't do that kind of stuff, um, or even Damage. Like you're going to see them be more calculated with that. So it's just like I don't know. He's a great player. I would never say that he's not a good player. This is all from an outside perspective of me looking at things, and yeah, I just want to see him just maybe talk a little bit more. I don't know. And it's great that they have Mishka back. Like he's a great player too. I don't know that I saw Yaya play a whole lot, but they have such a deep roster that I'm sure it's difficult. Like I can't imagine trying to yeah, Damage played fantastic. They played so well. And then for Jake to go and win 2 one-on-ones in double overtime to win 2 events now is pretty ridiculous. But yeah, he's a great gunfighter. Something with him is that he doesn't really back down from gunfights, so he's gonna really engage. And I saw someone that had said that Meter should have been the one for X Factor, but PJ. So Yeah. Oh, by the way, if you guys need any sort of like self-defense stuff, I don't know if you guys know that First Strike makes these like pepper ball shooter things. They're pretty nasty. So if you need any of those, go over to First Strike. They can actually hook you up with some of those. You can ask PJ about how it feels because he's had some kind of explode in his face while he's been working on them. So it's not comfortable. But yeah, and then obviously First Strike has the tanks and regs and all of that. I've been using actually my tank is out there, but a First Strike 88. So that's been a really nice size for my setup. I like to have a little bit longer of a setup, but this one it actually pulled my setup in a little bit, but it's good. Like it's really really nice. But they have a bunch of different options, everywhere from like super tiny to like 100 something CI. So you can get a lot of stuff there. But yeah, I've been using their stuff this season and I've been really pleased with it. So really really good. Let's see. Oh, also, I'm thinking I'm gonna have to do some giveaways with these because I actually got more playing cards. I didn't realize that they did make them for me. So this is when I was with the Latin Saints, and I have one more holographic. This is my other holographic that I'm holding on to. So yeah, it's pretty cool. It's one of those things that like I have 2 playing cards, which is pretty cool. So how often do you and Ruthless so whenever we're practicing all together, it's before the event, which as you get higher up in the sport, obviously it's going to be better if you can practice every single weekend together. That's the ideal. But if you look at teams, even like Heat or even Damage, there's guys that'll play together every weekend, but then there's other guys that are not playing as much together and then go and win. Like I know Chad goes to practices when they have like their team practices and he just got the MVP. So unfortunately it is only one weekend, but that also is dictated by the NXL releasing the layout one weekend ahead. So the ideal would be that you can play together pretty much every single weekend. But it's also life. Like not everyone is getting paid. Like I'm like this isn't my job. Like I'm a school teacher. Like that's what I do for a living. So getting away is not always going to be the easiest. So, it is what it is. But let's see. I guess is there anything else that you guys had? I don't really have a whole lot more with this one. If you guys have anything. So I guess that answers your question with the what grade? So currently I'm teaching seventh grade science. But who knows? Like I got moved from seventh to eighth and then back to seventh because they needed a stronger teacher in seventh. So, it kind of just depends. Uh, yeah. Yeah. And thank you for all the support too, but like I know you comment all the time, man. Appreciate it. Um, Middle school can be rough, but it kind of just depends on. Okay, paintball's a good example of this. You have to learn how to stay calm under pressure. Like it's one of those things that if you're in the middle of a gunfight or you're way up in the middle, like I am, like I like to get into the middle of the field and I'm posting up and really trusting people around me and trying to like make those shots. If I start freaking out, I'm gonna lose. But if I can stay calm, that's going to help me succeed. It's the same thing with teaching or really any job. So that's one cool thing with paintball that it can teach you is being able to stay calm under pressure. Yeah, they actually know about my channel. I just started telling them about it because there was one year that a student just found it. It's like, hey, Mr. Montalva, I found your channel. So yeah, that's I just tell them and I've had some that will ask like, hey, are you gonna can you give me a better grade? And I just ignore that comment. but um but yeah, so and then they always forget. Like I'll have some bad bruise in here and I'll be like pointing at the board and then they'll be like, what happened? I'm like, you guys know exactly what happened. But yeah, so I don't know what exactly where I'm gonna be teaching, like what grade. It's yeah, was it the first or second week of August here? Is think that's our teacher work days is around there. So they might even say like, "Oh, you're teaching this one." Why you want to know that, BJ? Favorite food at Disney? So, yeah, I like going to Disney. So the Ronto wrap is pretty solid. Speaking of this is the way, Ronto wrap is pretty good. You can't go wrong with the turkey leg if you really want a bunch of sodium. So if you need a lot of salt, then that's gonna be good for you. Uh, um, yeah, I like those, but yeah, those are probably the top two. I do like the blue milk and the green milk at Galaxy's Edge, but that's also I kind of have it as a way of when I want something, but my 3-year-old would probably want it too. So I'm like, oh, you want a treat? He's like, yeah. So I can go and get a little bit of sweets, but yeah, got to watch my macros though. So it is what it is. Um, all right, guys. Well, hopefully Thursday works better, is what it seems like. I'll go back to like every other week. So I'll do some where it's members only, and then I don't know, Dave, if a new marker is coming. I feel like that was trying to be a trick question. I don't know. Yeah. I haven't gotten any word of anything, and it's not like something's shown up in the mail. I've not been told anything, but I know I heard some rumor that there might be, but I have no idea. But yeah, so if Thursdays work better for you guys, then I'm happy to keep doing these. And I think when we get closer to actually, yeah, we'll figure that out. But yeah, please, yeah, if you guys are going to be at Cup, and unless I'm running to a match, like I'll be there pretty much all day, just because I can drive there. So it's like only like an hour for me, and then I stay with the team, so I can do that. Figure it out. I don't have connections like well, I guess I kind of do, but all right, guys. Well, thank you again for jumping on, and thanks for all the love.